Hello. It's funny. Oh, I think I just burped. Sorry. Um, I was thinking about just coming on and being like, hey, so I'm not really making these videos anymore. I'm kind of just doing Instagram because it's shorter, honestly. It's easier. And then I realized I had some things to say that take more than a minute. So, hello again. So I'm getting ready to go to a conference, a VO conference in Pennsylvania. It's called Get Out of Your Booth. Check it out if you like. It's a small conference. It holds 100 people. I think 75 are going. And it was very inexpensive, which was part of their point, which I really appreciate. So shout out to Mike Cunningham and Jen Toffoni um, for setting this up for us. I'm very excited to meet people that I have only seen online or communicated to, written Facebook messages, what have you. Um, but I've been thinking about what what I want out of it. What am I bringing? How can I be of service? What am I bringing to the table? What do I want out of it? What do other people want out of it? And why? So it's been my experience. People have gone to other conferences and written, like, it was great, it was life changing, it was mind blowing, but they have never said why. Nothing specific. I am curious to see if I will come back with some understanding around that. I have some theories. Um, I don't know if they just don't have time. It's just not something they do. I find it curious. So with that, I find myself really feeling like I need to be as honest with myself and as accountable with myself as I can be before entering this space. So I'm not full of shit. I try not to be anyway, but this is a new environment. This is a new situation. This is new people. I need to make sure I'm coming in, energetically clean. So, um, that's what this is. And you know me, I present things that I'm experiencing on the offhand chance that someone out there who's listening is also experiencing them or is also trying to come to terms with this sort of thing. That's why I do this. So I have three very specific things I want to discuss. And again, as usual, some of which I've talked about before, but not all of them. So three specific things. One, accountability. I'm going to try to stop doing that too. This pursing lips thing. I don't know why I do it. Um, accountability is yours, is mine, is not for someone else. So what I'm saying is, in the instance of accountability partners, I don't believe in it because you're not accountable to other people for what you do. You're accountable to yourself. Um, those sorts of things don't work for me. If it does work for you, great. But if you question why it doesn't work for you, I think that's why. Which leads me to number two, what is acting? Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a lifelong background in acting. I've been acting since I was out of the womb. Um, I have a background in theater and film. Hold on. And I've had a lot of time to think about what acting is and what acting isn't. In my very real, and I think expert opinion, it is not pretending to be somebody else. And if that is the approach that a person is taking, I would posit that they're not in the practice of knowing themselves well. They're not in the practice of being accountable for dealing with their shit, which you and I both know that's all I care about. People dealing with their shit. So, what does that mean? It means if you do not know yourself well enough to know how to respond to things in observance of your nervous system as such that you can move through it clear headed and without projection, confidence, and grounding in who you are, or even the ability to go, I can't handle this right now. Excuse me. I'm going to drink fizzy water and then I'm going to burp. You can't really, I don't think, again, opinion, You can't pretend to be something you don't understand, but you can bring forth aspects of self into a imagined circumstance that ties in, so that when it's received by the people watching, when it's received by the audience, they don't necessarily need to know what your subtext is, what your actual life experience is, as long as you're bringing forth what is true and authentic to the script and to the story and to the character. Pretending to be somebody else is in complete opposition of all of that. It's disregarding humanity at its core foundation, in my opinion. And I don't really see how that, like when I was in high school and college, people would say, I do acting because I can pretend to be somebody else, like therapy. And I'm like, therapy is therapy. Acting is acting. And I think good actors are strong people. And again, who you are out of the booth is who you are in the booth. So I think a person's receptivity to character would be greater if they practice knowing themselves and dealing with themselves. Which leads me to I brought this up the other day during a session, an acting session, and I'd never confessed it out loud, and so I'm going to confess it out loud here too. There is a practice in voice acting, which is a script analysis, which covers like 4 things, like who are you talking to, what was just said, what problem are you solving, or why are you saying what you're saying. I think it's a fine foundational starting point. I do not think it's meant to stay there. I believe we are meant to grow from that point. Also, it doesn't work for me. I can't get into where I think I need to be in order to present, again, what the receiver is going to receive, which I believe will be in alignment with what's being asked of me. And I know that might be controversial. And maybe in a year, again, talk to me in a year, maybe I will have come full circle and be like, oh, I have found the ways in which it works for me. At this time, it doesn't. I choose, and this is absolutely the case it doesn't matter what genre I'm doing. And we've talked about this before, kind of back to what I was just saying though. How your character feels about themselves is how they're going to talk to the person in front of them. So it's irrelevant who that person is. How you like or love or loathe yourself or the character is how they're going to speak. Because that's what people do. If you want to get down to the nitty-gritty of human behavior, that's it, in my opinion. I think the other stuff is extraneous nonsense. I think it makes it harder. I would be happy to be tested on this, but I know that when I leave an audition, having approached it from that place, I am confident and strong that I gave the best that I could. It does not offend me if that still wasn't what the person was looking for. I like how I approach things. I like that I use my imagination to kind of rework the way something has been presented to me so that I can really dig in to my own psyche and bring forth something nuanced and complex and interesting. At least that's the goal. This is not to say that if I was in a situation where that is how the director wanted to approach it, and maybe I would tell them that's how I feel about it, but I wouldn't be like, I didn't do it like that. I would probably I might lie, honestly. No. Would I lie? That's a great question. I think what I'm getting at is I'm not resistant exactly. I know what does and doesn't work for me. And I would like to think that that would mean something to a director. Again, talk to me in a year. Maybe I'll have a different feeling about it. But, so my goal with this conference, and I've told them, conference goers, is to rise above the dogma. I am looking for people, concepts, coaches who also appreciate that there's stuff that's non-negotiable. I accept that. And then there's stuff that is definitely negotiable. And there's stuff that can be reworked or rethought or reimagined, repurposed, and still be in alignment with what we're all trying to do, and maybe even elevated a bit. So that's my goal. Elevation, rising above, making connections with people, being of service, having a good time, enjoying, time away from Colorado and doing something on my own. And this is my first conference, so my goal also is to come back and give a little breakdown of my experience, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some of these questions that I've posited. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I hope you have a lovely week. All right, talk to you later. Bye.